Jonathan Hatton Jr. is currently committed to Texas A&M. We're going to take a look at the running back right now from Texas. Steele, to be specific, 6'1", 205. As always, you guys let me know what you think about Hatton Jr. If there's anybody else in this 26 class for me to put on my channel, or even if you just want me to take a look and give my 2 cents or have a conversation about them, I would appreciate that. So I always watch these, at least now I watch these highlight tapes 2 or 3 times before I come on here and talk about him. And usually I'll have a trait that I want to highlight or maybe something that he does good, and I'll talk about that first, and then I'll kind of work into what I think they can improve on. I really don't have either of those for Jonathan Hatton Jr. I couldn't specify one trait that I like best that really stood over the rest that he has, and then couldn't really think of anything to pick apart his game. I think he's just a complete back, and what do I like about him? First, I think it's the contact balance. 6'1", 205. We like that frame, and we really like his lower body, and you'll see it show up where he just runs through arm tackles. That's a sign of a good running back. We sometimes overrate some of these high school running backs that are just great athletes, that are track guys that can just outrun everybody, but it's a lot harder to do that at the next level. We're kind of banking on them developing that contact balance, that lower body strength, that the vision, yeah, that's part of it, the mental aspects of playing running back, but sometimes you'll watch some of these top dudes and they'll just be great athletes, and that doesn't always translate. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I overrate them too, not gonna lie. If I had to make a top 5 list of running backs, you'd probably look at them and be all, these kids are all great athletes, not necessarily great running backs yet, but dudes like this I think are a bit safer because they're already there athletically, and then they already have those real running back traits that for sure translate. I'm telling you, the thick lower body, the contact balance, that stuff plays at the next level. The athleticism doesn't always. Sometimes you just kind of handcuff yourself as a gadget player. But when you put it all together as an athlete, then it's kind of special. But these guys, this kid's already a great athlete, really explosive, hits this hole real hard, I think, and then to have this cut right here at the next level. Shit, and there's even another one. I didn't remember that. We'll let it run a little bit here, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else for me to point out. This was a great read. I try not to get too far into the actual football stuff because I'm not sure if that's people want to watch, but this looks like a outside zone here stretch, and he reads this great. Usually on these zone plays, you'll have 1 or 2 gaps, a cutback lane that you'll ask a kid to hit. On these stretch plays, this doesn't really look like stretch more than it does like outside zone, the way the offensive linemen are kind of open up their hips a bit more wider than they would on it. It's definitely not inside zone. A lot of kids have the tendency to just hit this outside, keep stretching it, and then it gets strung out and it ends up being a 2-yard loss, 2-yard gain, but does a great job reading this cutback lane here, hitting that first outside zone read that they have. That was good, and then he has the explosiveness to turn this into a touchdown. That's kind of the difference between just the 7-yard gain, those runs that add up, and then the actual kill shots, the touchdowns there. Like I said before, there's a lot of kids that are a lot more athletic than Jonathan Hatton Jr., but I don't know that there's that many that have the same frame as him, the contact balance, that are as explosive as him. It's good to change of direction ability. Just think of running back overall. think I pretty much said everything that I can say about Hatton Jr. You guys let me know what you think about him. KJ Edwards also committed in this A&M class. I haven't watched him in a while, so I can't really make any comparisons, but we'll do that later. My video's up if you guys want to check that out. But I appreciate you guys for watching, and let me know if there's anybody else you want me to watch.